Welcome to a new episode.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Copy Connection podcast. As always, I'm your host Chris Bailey, and today we're diving into something that might sound a bit dry on paper, but in reality is absolutely critical for you as future plumbers and tradespeople. The rules behind safe, legal, efficient water systems. I'm talking about the main reasons behind the Water Supply Water Fittings Regulation 1999, what they're designed to prevent and why they matter for every job you do. So in this episode, we're going to walk through the 5 big threats these regulations protect us from, using real-world examples, stories from Apprentices, and plain English. So let's get into this week's episode. So why do the rules exist? Picture this. You're helping out on a repair call in an old house. The homeowner has been using a simple garden hose to fill a barrel of water for watering plants. Water mixed with pesticides. One day the mains pressure drops whilst they're watering. Suddenly the hose sucks that pesticide-tainted water back into the plumbing system. Later somebody drinks from the tap and the next thing you know there's a serious contamination risk. Scary, right? But that's actually the kind of scenario the water regulations are designed to prevent. They're not just paperwork or red tape. These rules exist so that everyday work, filling a bucket, installing a sink, setting up drinking points in a school, we keep water safe, clean and used properly. So let's have a look at the 5 main dangers. I'm going to break these down one by one. So number 1, we've got contamination. The first is contamination, water from outside sources, so chemicals, pesticides, waste, getting sucked or pushed back into the water supply. The regulations require backflow prevention. In a simple home garden that might need a double check valve on a hose tap, or ensuring hoses are handheld and not left submerged in anything. For bigger places like schools, hospitals and factories, you might need an air gap via a storage system, so the contaminated water can't reach the clean supply. I remember one apprentice telling me they found an outside tap connected to the garden sprayer full of fertiliser. No valve, no protection. If the mains pressure had dropped at the wrong time, that house would have had a serious contamination problem. Then there's number 2, waste. Waste isn't just you forgetting to turn off the tap. The regulation defines waste more broadly. Water running to waste because of faulty installation, poor maintenance, or leaking appliances. Even a small trickle adds up. Water has already been treated, pumped, energy used, and then thrown away. This is not just cost to the homeowner, it's an environmental and resource issue. Imagine you're on your first job, you fit a new toilet system, but don't get the seal quite right. A slow leak starts shriveling night and day. At first it seems minor, but over the weeks it might waste hundreds of litres of water, and the homeowner is going to get one hell of a nasty bill. Then we've got number 3, misuse. Misuse covers improper use of mains water pressure. For example, using the water supply to drive power, like pumps or even electrical generation, where water pressure is abused. Basically, water mains are for water supply, not for free source of power or unintended purposes. You might not see misuse every day, but when you do, it can cause damage to the distribution system or risks to supply, which means you, as a responsible plumber, should spot them and correct them immediately. Then there's number 4, erroneous measurement, which basically means meter bypassing and theft. Some unscrupulous people bypass water meters or tampering with them so they don't have to pay for water. That's erroneous measurement. It's a form of theft. For businesses and commercial premises, water companies often monitor flow rates and compare them to meter readings. Mismatches raise red flags. So why does this matter to you? As a plumber, you might be asked to replace or install meters or check old systems. You need to know that tampering is illegal, carries consequences, and undermines trust within the trade. And then finally, we've got undue consumption. So, uncontrolled use or wasteful use. Even when water is measured and billed properly, it can be used wastefully. For instance, urinals or toilets flushing far more than they're needed, or taps left running. That's undue consumption. The regulations ask for responsible controls, like time-limited flushes on urinals or flow controls on taps to prevent waste. Say you install a block of public toilets at a construction site or a new office site. If the urinals flush every 5 minutes all night, that's wasted water, unnecessary cost and bad practice. As the installer, you have the responsibility to use the correct fittings or time flow controls. So what does that all mean to you guys on the tools, on site or prepping for your exams? As a student or an apprentice, you have got a duty whether you're working on a tiny house reservation or a big commercial build. From the moment water enters the property to the very last tap, you must ensure plumbing meets the rules. Always think risk and context. A garden hose might be fine at home, but if you're installing in a school or a factory, you may need a system with an air gap and certified backflow device. Fix leaks early. Don't ignore a drip. It might seem harmless, but over time, it wastes water, energy, money, and fails the standard. Use the right gear for the job. Flow controls, trigger gun hoses, double check valves, time flushes, correct meters. They aren't optional extras, they're part of good practice and compliance. And your reputation matters. As a trained, qualified plumbing professional, you're part of upholding safety and trust. Messing up water quality, overusing water, or allowing theft affects not only a building, but the public supply, the environment, and the credibility of our trade. And bonuses for those studying or revising. If you learn this now, it's not just to pass your exam. It becomes habit. Good habits make good plumbers. So let me finish with one last scenario. A few years back, I visited a small community centre where someone had installed a new drinking fountain. But instead of doing the job properly, they just connected the tap directly. No notification, no backflow prevention, nothing. The centre manager thought it was just a tap. Turns out, during heavy use, the pressure fluctuated. Contaminated water from a cleaning bucket might have been drawn back into the drinking supply. Thankfully, on inspection, the error was caught, corrected, and the supply made safe before anyone got sick. That's real examples of everything in plumbing matters, even what seems small. So if you ever wonder why you need to follow regulations or why your tutor keeps drilling always fit a double check valve, now you know. It's about public safety, resource conservation, and maintaining trust within the trade. As you build your skills and career, treat these 5 big threats as not boring rules, but as your promise. A promise that every system you touch will be safe, efficient, and professional. So that brings us to the end of episode 27. If you found this useful, share this with your mates, apprentice peers, or workmates. Drop a comment or a message to tell me about a time you spotted a plumbing risk, or got caught out because you didn't. And don't forget, hit follow and subscribe so you don't miss our next episode on more essential plumbing topics and trade career advice. This is the Copper Connection podcast. I'm Chris Bailey. Stay sharp, stay safe, and keep connecting your copper the right way.
We'll be back next week. In the meantime, please subscribe and thanks for listening.